All right, let's get this baby a go. Without further ado. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another detailing video. We have the Corolla back into the mix here, and today we're going to be trying out something very intriguing, something that caught my eye as a foam cannon, I guess. This is something from Raincovo. I think this is probably like the newest thing on the block. I got this on Amazon. This is the Raincovo Dual Pure Pro foam cannon. So basically, it's another one of those like auto mixing foam cannons where you just have to just dump your whole product into a little tank. And the idea is to just skip the whole the dilution ratio calculating step. And that way, you just pump and dump kind of deal. Except that's not, we're not, dealing with in sort of investment, but anyway, that aside, I just wanted to give this a go and give it a try and see if it's even practical or not. The idea of this one, though, what sets it apart from the rest of those auto mixing foam cannons is that, as I unbox it here, is that it comes with not one but two sort of these tanks in the shape of these sort of test tubes for this time around. Each of them are about 35 milliliters, so it'll hold just about an ounce plus. You can kind of see how it's measured and stuff like that. Pretty cool. So you have two of these. So the idea is that you can and the idea of having two little tanks for this contraption here is that you can have two different chemicals to pre-wash your vehicle, ideally anyway. And I assume, you switch one over like this just by rotating it over as it is gravity fed, just like before. So it just looks like your standard foam cannon from the top. Got the knob and everything, got this nice transparent or translucent plastic outer shell to it. Stainless steel parts, so it does look pretty nice for what it is. I forget how much it was. It was like around 30 bucks-ish. I'll throw the link in the description or whatever. But yeah, the only thing that sets it apart, like I said, is just the two inlets. It does come with the quick connect right here. That's nice. So it's all pretty pre-assembled and everything. And it does come with the 1.1 orifice right here. I don't know if the other one in here is already installed in here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and check the foam cannon real fast. So the orifice in here that comes pre-installed, at least on my end anyway, it's not numbered. So I'm just gonna assume that this is more like a 1.25 millimeter orifice right here, or even bigger maybe, or right around there. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch out that for the 1.1 orifice, because that's usually that's like kind of like my go-to. Otherwise, it comes with different spare parts, including the orifice, including the filter, including this little crevice cleaning tool. It's got a little stick, and then of course there's the 1.1 orifice. There's the siphoning sort of mixture with a different size orifice possibly to vary up the amount of foam and such. So I'm gonna grab my little flathead screwdriver and I'll be right back. Yeah, I guess other things. What's kind of cool is that you can actually see the innards of the foam cannon, including the filter right here, and then there's the little tip that actually adjusts the fan size. So that's kind of neat. And then you can, of course, adjust the horizontal or vertical aspect of the foam cannon. The turning does feel pretty decent. No clicky or anything like that, but it just has a nice firm feel to it. So you kind of know that it'll hold. The orifice has been switched. Go ahead and close that up. So as to match the sort of intentional use of this foam cannon because it has the 2 tanks, so you can basically have 2 pre-washes. You can ideally switch over to like a 2 pH wash very easily and flawlessly, hopefully. That's the idea anyway. So for today, we're gonna actually do a 2 pH wash for my car. I think it's dirty enough to qualify for that. It's just barely dirty enough, I guess. But it's really to demonstrate the use of this foam cannon more than anything. And for today's chemicals, for the 2 pH, we're gonna use Detail Co's hard wash and the acidic wash in one go. Don't mind the bottle here because the original bottle cracked and slowly leaked. So I'm just using the the ADS rinseless bottle right here to replace it. So anyways, yes, we're gonna use a 2 pH, switch it right over, so real fast like, hopefully, and we'll get the wash going. So here we go. This is hard wash going into tank 1. You can kind of see here. I'm gonna fill up to the 30. Actually, we're gonna go 35 because why not? Go all the way just to really see how much it consumes. Okay. It might actually be 40 mil because yeah, I'm pretty sure this maximum line right here, it should be 40, but I stopped at 35-ish anyway. Okay, that's that. It's a little funky to like get it all together because yeah, you know, you gotta, because this doesn't have a cap, so you gotta use this as a cap to close off this guy right here. And hopefully you get that in there tight enough. And there's tank number 1 filled. My only concern is that at one point, the 2 chemicals will mix together at some capacity. So, you know, especially when you have 2 pH washes and they may be very volatile with each other, it could make some sort of reaction inside the foam cannon of itself. You know, worst case, very worst case scenario, like absolute worst case scenario. So we'll just have to see. I guess we're kind of just like the guinea pig in this situation. So this is acid wash. Interesting liquid color for this one. It's kind of cloudy. Kind of like what lemon is anyway, lemon juice is. Okay, so this is a little funky because, see, now I have to fill it, I have to turn it like, you know, more towards like this because it's gonna gravity feed this chemical to possibly here. So let's see how this whole thing works. Hopefully my concern does not come true. Well, let's see. Okay. Looks pretty good so far. So that's what this is what it looks like. It looks like this weird, funky looking sciencey experiment looking thing. It looks like it's something you would like inject into like a mutant or something like that. It's pretty kind of cool if we're gonna be honest. Very sci-fi looking. And the idea is that you gravity feed one after another. So we're gonna have this on top first, and then we're gonna have this turned over right after that. Now, before I go into the whole actual wash, you can also just do 1 pre-wash and 1 main soap, of course, like the bucket wash soap. Throw that in here and then go right into a full shampoo wash. You can definitely do that too. Just throw that out there. It doesn't always have to be a 2 pH wash sort of idea. It's just, you know, one way to approach it. You can also use it another way. So just throwing that out there. Let me see. So instructions are pretty straightforward. You just fill in the chemicals you want, just exactly how we did it. It didn't say anything about, oh, be careful about, you know, rotating this and this and that or something. There's no big warning or anything like that. Otherwise, everything inside the instructions just tells you how to replace parts and all that doohickey stuff. But the real instructions are in the back. if you want to, thoroughly read through that. Vertically upward and then vertically upward. Yeah, so basically what I said, it's a very gravity-fed operation. All right, let's get this baby a go. Without further ado, I hit the trigger by accident. Okay. That could have gone worse, but look at how it looks on the gun. It looks very like sci-fi. It's like something out of like Star Wars or something. So anyways, let's turn to the alkaline wash. So we're gonna do that instead. And interesting. I think it's ideal to just fill up to the max, because now that we turned it over, we actually have at least 5 milliliters of room in the open like that. So I'm pretty sure we're on max. We should be good to go. Oh yeah, so we gotta actually turn this to vertical, and then let me just adjust it a little bit, and let's see what happens. So right away, you can already see the level of foam. As an auto mixing foam cannon, it does look pretty nice. Got a nice amount of like little divots and stuff like that. Kind of close to shaving cream. It's a little on the wet side. All right, so now you're gonna kind of get an idea of how it works. So you have it vertical up like this for the chemical you want to use, and then you want to switch over, you just rotate it. So let's get this whole thing foamed up. Now I've already ran out of foam right here, so maybe we should adjust the knob back to like half a turn, maybe even like a quarter after that. So like three quarters of a turn from the max. And I want to refill this up, so I'll actually be right back. All right, take two. I just refilled it back up to like more than an ounce, but let's see how long this will last. All right, now we actually coated the car with the alkaline wash, and we're gonna switch over to the acid real fast, and hopefully we get it going in one go. So ultimately, I think for me, I would have to turn it just a quarter away from max to kind of get that right consistency. At the same time, not really like, super using my product real fast. Because otherwise I just used 2 ounces of the alkaline wash, and then had to like make sure I didn't use the other ounce, or make sure I didn't use 2 ounces of the acid. So we just wound up using the actual whole ounce of acid wash right here. So it does take some time to get finesse it, adjust, be a little more thoughtful about it. Is there a practical use for this? Probably not for the professionals, because I also did notice that there were times where it did sputter and spit out water, just pure water, instead of the product, right? So it's not a perfect product, but the idea is cool. So to be able to switch over to the 2 pH thing real fast, or alkaline to the neutral wash real fast. Although then it's like, why would you then? But then just why not take the time to switch over to another foam cannon? I mean, I guess it's to try to like, cut down on the number of products. But in that case, I would just rather have two cheap foam cannons for like 20 bucks or something. Yeah, you're probably gonna be eating 40 bucks instead of this possible 30 right here. But ultimately, I think it's gonna be easier to use. And you have two separate foam cannons, and so in case one breaks, you have another to use as a backup in case of an emergency or something. Because otherwise, if this breaks, what are you gonna do? So there's definitely pros and cons of using this style of foam cannon here, especially with the two tanks. It's the whole idea right here, as it does look funny on the foam cannon. But yeah, anyway, let me go ahead and use up the rest of the alkaline wash, just so. There we go. All right, it's definitely well done long enough, as I was talking about my thoughts for the foam cannon. And so we can now go ahead and rinse off. I'm going to use a turbo nozzle this time, just to try out this little contraption as well with my foam gun. So let's give it a try. Just a reminder of how messy the foam can be. Look at my shoes. Somehow it got the rim of my shoes. Kind of have this different look to my kicks. Thought it was kind of funny, and to remind you all of how messy foam is, but it definitely is fun. So I got the rinseless wash on there. It's gonna just sit on the car for a bit as I wrap up my thoughts on it, just for like very first try, first impressions. But ultimately, I think I got most out of what this foam cannon offers, and it has its ups and downs. You definitely don't want to use this at max because it'll just go through the product real fast. So for me, I would have to turn it a quarter, and I think what happened also is that the knob is kind of loose, so I do want to see if I can tighten that knob or not. So when you're like waving around stuff like that, it could possibly not feed it correctly. But the fact that it is gravity fed, it's not perfect, so you'll have some sputtering moments. But other than that, the actual like practical sort of use when it comes to this foam can anyway, if you want to, whether one should use it or not. It really depends, of course. That's kind of like a cheap way out, but I'll say this. So if you're gonna do a 2 pH wash with this foam cannon, I think this will definitely be a little more useful. And especially if you want to like help conserve the amount of product you want to use, because ultimately with this foam cannon, you can potentially just use 1 ounce per product per wash. So you're going to just be using 2 ounces of the pre-washes altogether if it calls for it, right? So it is possible, but you do have to be more thoughtful about it. You have to really finesse this foam cannon just to get it to that point. So it really depends on what you're looking for. If you're really into the 2 pH washes, I think this is for you. But if you're just going to use it for like, the 1 alkaline wash and then go into the main shampoo wash, I think personally you're better off using 2 cheap foam cannons and then call it a day. But that's just me anyway. So this is again, this is more useful for the alkaline and the acidic wash, because you can switch it so quickly. In a sense, what you can actually do, as of recently discovered, or at least told by Ivan LaCroix, is do a exothermic sort of clean or pre-wash. Meaning if you do a alkaline and an acidic right after that, it'll create that exothermic sort of reaction, therefore kind of enhancing the cleaning power quite a bit. And it definitely did clean my car, right, ultimately. So there is some use for this. It's a very niche use for most people anyway. For the most part, you're just going to be better off 1 foam cannon pre-wash, 1 foam cannon for the practical, or for the main shampoo wash. That's my 2 cents on it. Or even hell, I mean, just use the 1 foam cannon altogether. So yeah. So it's really depending on what you're looking for. I think that's the answer here. But for me, I'll keep it around. For the 2 pH washes, I kind of found a footing and rhythm for this foam cannon. As funny as it looks, but it's useful. It works. Not perfect, but it works. So yeah, that's pretty much my experience with this foam cannon. What do you guys think? Are you guys considering picking this up? Do you want to try to use this for your 2 pH washes, for your detailing? I don't know if this will be a good tool for the professionals, but for the normal consumers, maybe, right? That's more probably their alley than anything. But hey, if you can find a professional use for this, hey, more power to you, I guess. So that's my thoughts on it overall with this Raincovo Duo Foam Cannon Pro thingy. Thank you very much. Leave a like, subscribe. It really helps out, and I do appreciate it. So I'm going to go do the rest of the wash and probably use it as bonus footage or whatever. So thanks, and hope to see you all in the next one. Sean out.